Okay, so what we're doing now is we're looking at how to edit nodes and how to select, slice, and dice nodes. And we're going to spend a few minutes working with the Pathfinder. So here I am again. I've got my canvas open, and I'm going to create two shapes. I'm going to create a circle, fill it with one color, and I'm going to create a square and fill it with another color. And I'm going to have the two shapes overlap like so. And this is important for us to be able to explore how the Pathfinder works. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the shape and I'm going to copy it. I'm going to hold on the Alt key. They're both trap selected. I'm going to hold on the Alt key and drag over a copy like that. So if I screw up, if I need an exit strategy, I can go back and grab the original shape that hasn't been messed up. So I'm going to go up and I'm going to load a palette called the Pathfinder. What the Pathfinder allows me to do is to take a shape that's overlapping and break it apart and render different elements. So let's look at the different things that you can do with the Pathfinder. So I'm going to trap select both of these shapes. Remember, I could also shift click to select both shapes. And then I'm going to start from the left and move across. And the first is unite. So if I click that, you'll see that the two shapes are now united, and the front shape gives its color to the back shape. Now I'm going to undo that step by tapping Control Z. The two shapes are still selected. I'm going to move on to the next, which is minus front. So what that does is it takes whatever shape is in the front and knocks it out of the shape. It knocks that out of the shape in the back. I'm going to undo that. Control Z. Let's move on to the next one, which is intersect. So it gives you the intersection between the two shapes. Lots of times when I'm using these, I'll copy the shape over and then do the operation so that I have the original shapes in addition to the new part that I've made. After that is exclude. So that takes the part where the two shapes overlap and excludes it. I'm going to undo that once again. Next is divide. So that's going to take the shape and it's going to divide it into a bunch of other shapes. In my opinion, this is the most useful out of the Pathfinders. Now, the thing is that the shape is still selected even though they're divided. So I'm going to click away. Then I can click and ungroup it, object, ungroup, click away. Now I can click on each piece and peel it away like so. So that one's one of my favorites. I find that to be very useful. Now I'm going to step backwards a number of times until I'm back to where the original shapes were. If that's a problem for you, then just grab the shapes over from the left, delete the shapes on the screen, grab the shapes that you made over on the left and drag them back onto the screen and start from there. Oh, went back too far. Let's step forward one. And I'm going to reselect the two shapes. I'm going to move on to the next one, which is trim. And what that does, it trims. As you can see here, there was a stroke in the shapes and it's trimmed the stroke away from the shapes. I'm going to undo that. Next is merge. So that merges the two shapes, but it does not change the color of either shape. So remember that we merged the shapes the other way and the shapes changed color. I'm going to undo that. And then we have crop, which crops out the center shape. I'm going to undo that. Next to last is outline. So it takes the shapes and turns them into outlines. I'm going to undo that. And the last one is the opposite of minus front. This minus back. I'm going to undo that. So that is my Pathfinder tool. And the idea is that I can create interesting shapes, but taking the shapes and running it through that Pathfinder. Usually what I do is I always make a copy of the shape, move that out of the way, and then that way if something goes wrong, I have a backup copy. And then lots of times when I'm making multiple pieces, I'll need the original pieces anyway. Let's stop there.